Welcome to Inside Games Daily, the only gaming show brave enough to call EA out on microtransactions.
Oh, it's been a long time, hasn't it? Oh, EA's been quietly back there releasing games nobody cares about, like Immortals of Avium and Dragon Age Veilguard.
Hold on, Split Fiction.
Everyone likes Split Fiction, and to EA's credit, you can play Split Fiction half for free. But no, they're evil again because of the most absurd headline we've seen in a long time. Yes, a game in closed alpha now has microtransactions. All the old heads like us were looking forward to it too. It's Skate. Oh, beautiful Skate.
Yeah, this is, I understand the spirit of this, but either way, Skate developers Full Circle have added functional microtransactions to the closed alpha for this game. And by the way, I have gotten into the closed alpha. I haven't played it yet, but I've gotten into the closed alpha, so I've been meaning to try this. And now I'm really looking forward to checking out those microtransactions.
Yeah, stocking up on Sand Van bucks. Yeah. You better build up a pile. Listen, all right, before we get into it, the story's not as bad as it sounds. We're just having fun with it because it's a fun headline. But yeah, there was some screenshots I saw leaked onto the internet of the shop. And then the developers provided a message to all the closed alpha participants.
Yeah, so here's the quote. To ensure we achieve these goals at early access, we have enabled the option to purchase and use virtual currency, the Sand Van bucks, in our ongoing closed alpha test. Your feedback will be greatly appreciated in providing a great experience at early access launch.
So on one hand, it is really galling to even have the opportunity to pay money into a game that's in closed alpha. But, okay, here's where maybe the both siding starts coming in. Any money you spend on this game as a closed alpha participant will be converted into currency when the game launches. And they put a little disclaimer in there that they might have to reset your character or something like that, but they're going to keep track of all your spending, and then that will carry through to the full actual launch of the game.
Okay, that's great. Skate will be free to play, and it's expected to launch this year, actually. It was announced in June 2020. And, I mean, of course, if it's free to play, we know it's going to be supported by microtransactions. So I think it's just hilarious, and I think a lot of the internet does, that the microtransactions are available in the closed alpha. You can't even stream this thing.
Right. Yeah, it's the red line everybody's been waiting for any game company to cross, right? Asking money for beta participants or alpha participants in this case. But okay, let's be real here. There's no chance they expect to make money, like a significant amount, any real amount of money, charging closed alpha participants microtransactions. The reason you have them is because you farm it out to tens of thousands of players and get kids to raid their mom's credit card to buy stuff. So I think there is credence to the developers saying that we're doing this to make sure it works down the line. So if we're doing it now, we open the gates for people who want to, and we're not stealing your money. Okay, all right, I get it. But still, you can't fight the headline, man. EA game and closed alpha with microtransactions. Sheesh.
You're right, Lawrence. They are definitely checking to see it works, right in quotes, checking to see that it works. But they need to. That is part of the game. If it's free to play, again, it's going to be supported by microtransactions. They want to see. They want to see if the credit card works, and if people could click the button to buy their new hats and new boards or whatever. And maybe they'll even do some marketing research on whether or not a specific microtransaction, gathered a lot of support. A lot of people actually purchased it, and they're like, "Oh, well, we should double down on the boards or the wheels or whatever." So that is something that they're using this for data, I would imagine. And I can get behind that. I've said for a very, very long time, this is a weird thing that I've seen the internet kind of occasionally fight back on, which is if a game is free to play, they're upset by microtransactions. And I'm always like, that's the only way that this game lives, is with microtransactions. So if it's free to play, it has to have microtransactions. Expect it to be fully monetized across the board with cosmetics and maybe even pay to win mechanics. Who knows? But expect that because it's free to play. That's how they do it. I don't know why people would ever be upset by that. So in that context, I'm not worried too much about Skate or the microtransactions for Skate.
Yeah, be a discerning gamer. That's what I always say. When everyone was mad about Diablo Immortal, somewhat justifiably, given the trajectory of Blizzard and all that, I didn't understand why there's a big free Diablo game there that's free. And you can play it all the way through pretty much without feeling compelled to spend money. They get you at the tail end once they've got their hooks into your brain. And maybe I think that's what people are afraid of, is that the game is so fun that they won't be able to control themselves. And then it's not a question of volition anymore. Although I wonder, this is more sociological and that's where I tend to go, but there's a invisible assumption on the internet that your attention is valuable unto itself, because that's how everything operates, right? These days, at least. Influencers want your time. They're willing to say whatever, pour mayonnaise on themselves in the middle of a grocery store, because there's power in getting people to just stop and look at you for 5 seconds. And you can eventually turn that into money. I think people take that attitude because they're immersed in it every day, and then also apply it to a game. It should be enough that I'm just playing this game, and that has value, and it actually might someday. And it might even now. But yeah, we're still in the point with games where you have a staff of hundreds. I don't know how big the development team on Skate is, but it's probably not small. That's a bit different than one 14-year-old intentionally vomiting in an Applebee's to try to get you to stop flicking on TikTok. So for now, there's plenty of free-to-play games that are a lot more insidious with how they monetize you.
That's true. We don't really know how Skate monetizes yet. The closed alpha will probably show us once we start playing that. And at the risk of us sounding like bootlickers, Lawrence, because a lot of people, I'm sure in the comments are going to say, they were already calling us bootlickers because we liked Star Wars Outlaws, just so you know. It is totally justifiable for you personally to not trust EA, because EA has a long history of really aggressive monetization. I don't know that they've really held back on that. I would say Split Fiction is the best example of the new EA being like, hey, one half of you could just play this game for free, which is pretty cool. It's the EA Originals team, but it is EA regardless. So I don't know that we're necessarily, back in 2012 when John Riccatello was trying to monetize you reloading your gun in Battlefield, right? I don't know if it's that bad right now. But I do understand why people do not trust EA or any company, and I would say don't trust any company. I really would. So I that makes sense to me. But at the same time, the developers that are making Skate, I'm sure very much care about their video game, want their video game to be fun and also successful. So they have to test this out. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah, I guess if you're looking at EA and free-to-play, Apex Legends is right there. And that's been managed pretty well. I think the thing everyone's afraid of, justifiably, given old EA, is that a bunch of edicts will come down from the publisher and force the game developer into all sorts of unwilling monetization. It'll ruin a fun game that could have been good. I think those are all valid concerns, but you have to wait until you see real smoke, I think. And this isn't quite smoke yet, even though the headline really feels that way. And yeah, Bruce, I think Split Fiction, the fact that there is a friend pass, which essentially is like a free co-op demo, or free access to the whole game, that's something EA could have very easily stomped out, and they didn't. So it seems to be selling pretty well. So yeah, I don't know. I agree with you, Bruce. I don't think we have to trust anyone. Trust yourself. So when Skate comes out, you're like, yeah, I love Skate. You download it and you start playing it and having fun, and then they ask you for money, you can say, no. I'll just keep playing. Thank you very much. Or here's another radical thought. Pun partially intended there. If you see a cool hat and you've been playing Skate for 60 hours and you haven't spent a dime, it's okay to buy the hat. I think a lot of people get, especially in games media, it's very trendy, I think, to shout down any kind of extended monetization. But hey, I think you're an adult. You can spend your money how you want, which includes not spending it at all.
It's true. You can also, like Lawrence said, supporting the developers with a $8 hat or whatever. If you played for 60 hours, that's cool in my opinion. The whales are not. That's not the cool part, right? The people are spending $10,000 on Skate. I mean, again, it's their money. They can do whatever they want with it. But I understand how you might feel like you get addicted and then have to spend your money on Skate. So either way. And also one thing I wanted to mention too, when you mentioned Apex and you're like, they managed that pretty well. There's gonna be some people in the comments that are like, Apex, because really honestly, Apex has gotten shouted down a number of times by the community, and then they've doubled back. I just keep up with that community every now and then, and they'll release there was one time they released half seasons or something of Apex, and they were like, okay, well, for one half the season you got to pay for this battle pass, the other half season, and that was super unpopular. So there's been a couple of times where the community has actually fought back and won, and then Apex has been, and then Respawn has been, and EA have been like, all right, never mind, we won't do that. So hopefully Skate will be the same dialogue with the community, where Skate comes out, they say, why are you charging for this? These wheels that make everybody's skateboard faster. and then Skate and EA go, all right, never mind.
That's the world we live in. You got to be hawkish out there, and I'm glad to hear that the dialogue in Apex is at least somewhat civilized. Some people get kind of worked up, but Hey, speaking of people who have allowed their brains to be hooked and their wallets to be emptied, we have some patrons that are supporting the show, and we're very, very grateful for their support. What enables us to do this daily now, which is really exciting. Also, to the just a quick shout out to the peerless efforts of our editor and producer Shooklin. Thank you very much. But I got a patron here who's named Pitstrip, and this patron has never bailed on a skateboard in their life. Those shoes are just glued on, no matter the trick, no matter how extreme. Always rooted.
That's actually very dangerous. So this patron has never stopped bailing, which is probably the better idea if you're going to fall. Dylan Hiley is the smarter one.